Now all you have to do is not get up from the chair and you're in focus.
Okay.
We're recording.
We're recording?
Yep.
Welcome to Liz's book review! Okay, cool. We're gonna review My Murder by Katie Williams. It's a newer book. It came out last year, 2023. Not quite horror. Not quite horror. It's more like a psychological thriller, and it's really, really trying hard to be that. Okay, so in this universe, you got clones. What are you doing?
I was getting that out of the way.
Oh.
Don't pay attention to me, I'm shooting. In this universe, you got clones. Take it from the top!
In this universe, there's clones. So you can bring people back. And the clones, like, come back with, like, they look exactly the same as the people. They come back at the age that they died at. They look exactly the same. They have all the same memories. Let's say I scraped my knee when I was 6. My clone won't have a scar on their knee. You get it? Okay. Tight. So they're bringing people back, but then they accidentally bring back this politician who was really rapey, and they were like, no more bringing people back. Which makes sense. Also,
wait, so the clone was, like, no matter what they could...
the same person.
They couldn't, like, take something out of him, though?
Well, let me get to that later.
Okay.
So the politician's rapey, and they were like, well, he raped a bunch of women, why would we bring him back? He's a bad man, he should have stayed dead. But they can't just kill the clone, that's also unethical. The clone didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But the clone still has the same brain
Right.
as rapey politician. Anyways, it doesn't matter. So they stop bringing people back, but then there's serial killing. Okay? I love serial killer stuff. You really don't get any of the nitty-gritty details. It's not gory. You're just like, oh, these bitches were killed and then they were brought back. After the halt, only these 5 women were brought back, and they're basically nobodies. Nothing is important about them. They're not special at all. In fact, they're kind of annoying. But they get brought back because, like, violence against women, bring them back, right? So they all come back. They're all really different. Like, you have the one that's, like, really self-absorbed and, like, really cares about her looks. You have the one that's, like, kind of quiet and a little spooky. You have the one that's, like, aggressive. You know, they're like all the personality types. Like those are the 5 characters. And essentially everything is the same about them. So the story's following Louise, but we just call her Lou for short. What are you doing? You're being very distracting.
I'm sorry. I'm adjusting the shot so that it's not fucking up. It keeps drifting down a little bit.
My tits are down here, Patrick.
I have to make sure that it's focused on you and doesn't keep falling down.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Anyways.
Sorry to interrupt.
We follow Louise, but we just call her Lou because she's cool. Lou's married, has a baby. She's the 5th murder victim before they catch the serial killer, Edward Early. What? Stupid name. I feel like that was real lack of imagination as far as the naming went. She remembers that she packed a bag and it's just been sitting in her closet before her murder. And then she comes back and the clone can't bring herself to unpack the bag, but she doesn't understand why. She doesn't even really understand why she packed it in the first place. She likes her life. She loves her husband. He's amazing. She loves her baby. Even though the baby doesn't really like her because she smells weird because she's the clone version. As far as I can tell, the baby don't really like her.
Does the baby say that she smells weird? How do you know it's because she smells, or is that a bit?
It's a bit.
Okay. I was like, maybe the clones smell weird. Maybe you can smell a clone. I don't know. It makes sense. Pheromones and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be the same if you're a clone?
I don't think so. Because your body hasn't aged the same way.
Right. Would a clone's fingerprints be different?
No.
How do we know?
We don't. I was just making an executive decision. I think for the purpose of this story, no.
Okay.
Okay. Then things get crazy. So all 5 of these women are in a support group together. They are in a we've been murdered and cloned support group. And it's very weird. That's how we get to know all of them. Again, following Lou. Who's a little more timid. She doesn't really understand why she was murdered. She doesn't remember anything about the murder. All of the clones don't remember about the last 24 hours of their life. So they don't remember the details of their murder, per se. Then a video game comes out. And the video game, and you play it in VR, the video game, you play the victims, and you get murdered by Edward Early, in the same locations that those women were killed at.
Why would anybody want to play?
But wait, you can also play as Edward.
That makes more sense.
You can attack Edward back as the victim.
Okay.
So the women, at first, are like, this is so fucked up. Angela, who is the really self-absorbed bitch of the group, went in and helped them develop the game. So Angela's like the biggest star of the game. It's ridiculous. And at first they're like, Angela, how could you do this? And then they all kind of come around and they're like, oh, wait a second, we kind of like this game. It's weirdly satisfying that we get to kill our murderer. Right? Okay. Then Lou and this other chick are like, I want to go meet him. I want to go meet the dude who killed us. So they go to the prison and they're talking to him. And Edward Early is like, I'm sorry, I'm so emotional. They have me on drugs to make me more empathetic.
Apologize.
Yeah, he's like, I'm so emotional. I'm on these drugs that make me more empathetic. So he can finally see what it's like to be somebody who has feelings because he's a psychopath. Anyway, so he's talking to the victims and he apologizes to the friend. He's like, I'm sorry I killed you, you know. And then he looks at Lou and he's like, Lou, he's like, I killed her, I didn't kill you. And they leave. And Lou is like, what the fuck? Is he fucking with us? He's on these drugs. He shouldn't be able to fuck with us like that. Is he telling the truth? What does this mean? And then she's like, wait a second. Did my husband kill me because I was going to leave him? Wasn't my husband? Is there a conspiracy? So Lou is like, I got to get out of here. So she goes to her dad's house. She shows up at her dad's house. Goes inside. And guess who she meets? The original Lou. Lou was never killed. She took her shoes off. Left them at a scene. And then just left. Took off. Went to her dad's house. Oh, the shoe thing. The serial killer leaves the victim's shoes near the body. So she just took her shoes off and left. And they never actually found her body. But the husband said that they did just so they could clone those other women. He was like, you know what? Like, if it brings other people back, if it brings my wife back, let's do it. Well, I'll say that I saw the body. But it would never happen. Because they're trying to save these other women. Because Lou was the last victim, she was the turning point to bring them all back. Without her death, the other ones would have never came back.
But she wasn't dead. She just took her shoes off.
Yeah, she just took her shoes off and left.
At a crime scene?
It became a crime scene.
So, is somebody else unaccounted for then?
No, because they're like, oh, she's missing. Where is she? And then they never find her.
How do they not find her if she's at her dad's house?
Because they don't bother looking. Plot hole! So she gets out of there, they're like freaking out, but because they think, this is where it starts to pull together, they're like, oh, this is a conspiracy. We knew Lou was alive, but we claimed that she was dead because she didn't want to be in this life anymore. And this way we could get these other women to come back to life. So there's two Lou's. We got original Lou and clone Lou. Clone Lou likes the original Lou life. Original Lou ready to flee. So it ends with original Lou leaving and traveling the world and disappearing. And clone Lou being a wife and mom. So, real lackluster ending. But that's the story. It really takes you on a wild ride. I like the universe in which the story was written. I thought it was a really good idea. I felt like the characters were okay. I like that we were in Lou's clone brain. And that you really do believe that she was murdered for a long time. The twist is towards the end where we find out original Lou's always there. I feel like maybe it was a little bit of a cop-out. Because if you think about good mysteries, twins is not allowed to be one of the things that is the twist.
Why
and
is
having
that?
a clone is a twist.
Is twins like hack?
It's hack as fuck.
Yeah.
It's it's like a comedy hack. It's like the equivalent of a comedy hack, but writing. It's like a clone is basically a twin. So like, really lacks imagination in my opinion. But the universe is really cool. So, and I like the idea of the video game and how they got to come back and kill their own murderer. But at the same time, I felt like it could have been a little bit more interesting, less of a cop-out at the end. It just seemed a little, lackluster. Anyways, I'll give it 2 clams.
Two clam.
Two clams. I would read it. I wouldn't read it again, but I would read it. I'm not mad that I read it.
Good enough.
Okay. Thanks for watching. And now music, right?